Good morning, everybody. I hope you can all hear me. My name is Fatima. I'll be the MC for today, celebrating Vesak 2025 with you at the Sanctuary of Stillness. It's my habit to start most of the things I try to do with a minute of mindfulness. So although I know I have a big esteemed Sangha behind me, I would really love it if you could join me for a minute before we start our day to reflect. Thank you, everybody. So I'd like to start the day by doing an acknowledgement of country. So today we're on the Jaja Warang lands. I'd like to acknowledge and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. The sacred animal for the Jaja Warang people is the wedge-tailed eagle. So if you happen to spot any today in the skies, you can use your mindfulness to notice and pay respects. In terms of today's program, we'll be having a talk based on Mother's Day by Ayya Upekkha. We'll also be having offering of flowers, gifts to the monastics, followed by a rice pindapata. 1 p.m. will be our novice ordination today. It'll be an opportunity for us to see something quite special here at the Sanctuary of Stillness as a newly established centre. I will be your point of contact in terms of the flow for today. So once again, my name is Fatima. I'll be available throughout the day for you. If you do have any issues, there will be lots of volunteers hanging around today with their vests on. And feel free to ask them their questions or concerns, should you have any, and they will pass them on to me. I'd also like to extend some apologies on the behalf of the Mayor, as well as the Deputy Mayor for Hepburn Shire, as well as the Minister of Multicultural Affairs, Ingrid. Some housekeeping rules for today. As you will notice at the back, there is a live camera. So this will be filmed and recorded for posterity mostly. If you have any concerns about that, could you please make it known, either to myself or one of the volunteers. There will also be some event photography today, again for posterity and just to look at the celebrations of the milestones we've achieved so far. If you do have any concerns about that, please also let us know. And also just a note, for anybody who has any physical issues, disabilities, limitations, if you could position yourself throughout the day towards the back of this hall, the manner in which we'll be exiting this hall for each of the events will be from the back forwards, and so you'll be given priority to exit and enter. Okay. And now I'd like to pass it on for our presidential address.
Presidential address.
From the White House.
Whoa.
Wow.
First time. Okay, so welcome to the Buddhist Society of Victoria's Vesak celebration here at the Sanctuary of Stillness on the grounds of the Newbury Buddhist Monastery. So I got everything in there. BSV, Newbury Monastery, Sanctuary of Stillness in one sentence. We are very grateful to the Victorian State Government Multicultural Affairs for their sponsorship of this event to allow us to better engage with the regional communities. Just in terms of this event, like these types of events, like we got a lot of people here, probably we didn't get as many as we hoped because we knew that Mother's Day would play a part of that. But like for these types of events, they don't come out of nowhere. You know, there's a lot of work that goes on behind here. And there's been a team that's been meeting very regularly, almost every week, at least once a week, meticulously planning over that last 8 weeks to get this ready for today for you. So this is a new venue for us, so we couldn't use our templates from our template of solutions in the nuns area or at the Buddhaloka Centre. So this event was really built from ground up, right? Just about every part of it. So if things do go not as planned, just cut them a bit of slack, okay? Because they've done a lot of work in putting this together. So if you haven't been here before to the monastery, then this is quite a unique place. You might even say it's a bit of an experiment. We have, on this monastery, we have the fourfold community of monks, nuns, laymen and laywomen. And we've now added another ingredient into that, which is to put a retreat centre into the middle of a monastery. So so we've just got started with this. So we'll be offering regular organised meditation retreats. So we're just getting into a rhythm for this. So most likely we'll be holding retreats on a monthly basis, which is sort of weekend retreats, and then self-retreats for those who have a practice already. So they're like seasoned practitioners. And then each day, you know, around 10:30, the monks and nuns that you see in front of us here, they come with their begging bowls to receive the foods and the requisites, right? And you, the community, provide this in order for them to sustain their practice on the path. And the monastics, in return, you know, they provide us lay people the guidance we need to sustain us on the path as well, or path of practice. So every day you're here, it shines the light upon this dependency that we have, the monastic dependency on the lay community, and the lay community, the dependency we have on the monastics. So it's really beautiful to watch. So just in terms of myself, you know, I came to the Buddhist Society of Victoria 9 years ago with absolutely neck deep in dukkha. My parents, my dad's in the audience here, you know, my parents brought me to the BSV in Melbourne. So today, you know, I'm here in front of you giving my first presidential address. But how did this happen? You know, it's not like you kind of aiming for this sort of thing when you come to the Buddhist Society of Victoria. So every week, you know, I went to the BSV to hear the teachings, to practice them, and I've got to say it was like applying balm, you know, constantly on a wound that was very, very deep. So a few months later, after I came to the BSV, someone gave me the opportunity to be part of the audiovisual production group. And then a few months after that, someone asked me if I'd like to become a member of the society. And then 2 years after that, someone created an opportunity, Adrian, created an opportunity for me to join the committee. So, but behind all of this was two key ingredients. One was community, and that what the Buddha would have called kalyana mitta, or spiritual friends, and dana, which was a way of sustaining and supporting the community. So today, you know, there will be opportunities for you to support the community as well. So there's a fundraising stall out there to help us pay back the internal loans that were taken in order to complete the retreat centre build. But there are other ways as well. You know, there'll be a few volunteers who'll be floating around, who'll be there to create opportunities for you to join the community as well. And I invite you to take up that opportunity that they create, just like someone created it for me 9 years ago. So I invite you to be open to bringing your energy, your skill set, to both grow the community and also growing the Dhamma at the same time. So on behalf of the committee, I'd like to thank the lead event organizer. Indra, are you here in the audience? Maybe outside. No, just so Indra's our City Zen president, current president, and he's done this extraordinary job. He's really done an extraordinary job of pulling this together. So I just want to acknowledge Indra, and the also the event organising team, which was really spearheaded by City Zen, our young adults group, which Fatima is also part of, who handles engagement. So also we're very grateful to the monastic community here and all of the volunteers who have worked so hard to make this celebration available to all of you. So we encourage all of our members, all groups within the BSV, which is, whether it's the Dharma School or the Teens Group or City Zen, to make the most of these facilities. They're yours to use and yours to care for, to allow yourself and others to deepen your practice and support the monastic community. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy the day.
I think that was a pretty nice presidential address. Mm-hmm. Yeah, nobody disagrees in the room. Just quickly, there are toilets outside of this hall to your left in the back. Fire exits are those doors that you see, and the fire evacuation zone is in front at the main staircase. Is there anything else I need to add for you? Not at this moment, thank you. Okay. And we're just moving on now to the flower and candle offering.
Yeah. All right, Ken. Yeah. In front of the Buddha that way. There we are. So now is the time for the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts or training rules. And we have a member of City Zen, Franklin. He will be leading the request, but you're welcome to join in. And this morning we are doing it in English, so if you can should be easy for people to follow along, followed by the iti piso afterwards in Pali. There we are, great.
Venerable, we request the 3 refugees and the 5 training rules. For the second time, Venerable, we request the 3 refugees and the 5 training rules. For the third time, Venerable, we request the 3 refugees and the 5 training rules.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. That's great. There we are. So now you can all join in with the English if you can. If you can remember it, that's good. All right. And I will lead it. I'll be doing the Namo Tassa, the homage to the Buddha 3 times, and then if you'd like to repeat it 3 times. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly awakened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly awakened one. Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly awakened one. There we are, if you'd like to repeat. And now the refuges. To the Buddha I go for refuge. To the Dhamma I go for refuge. To the Sangha I go for refuge. For the second time to the Buddha I go for refuge. For the second time to the Dhamma I go for refuge. For the second time to the Sangha I go for refuge. For the third time to the Buddha I go for refuge. For the third time to the Dhamma I go for refuge. For the third time to the Sangha I go for refuge. This completes the going for refuge. Right, now we can do the actual precepts and English. So, I undertake the training rule to refrain from killing living beings. I undertake the training rule to refrain from stealing. I undertake the training rule to refrain from sexual misconduct. I undertake the training rule to refrain from lying. I undertake the training rule to refrain from alcohol and drugs which lead to carelessness. And now if we can just affirm this by repeating this 3 times. I undertake to practice these 5 training rules. And now a little blessing for you. Through virtue, these 5 training rules lead to happiness, lead to prosperity, lead to liberation. Therefore, let them be purified. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And this is, of course, an important part of what we offer on Vesak, our practice. We offer that to the Buddha. Flowers and candles and incense, very nice. But really the practice is what we are offering today. And this, of course, is dana and the sila too, 5 precepts. So now we can do the recollection of the Buddha, the iti pisso. We can do it in Pali because it's a bit difficult without the English text on the screen like we have at BSV and Buddhist Society of Victoria. Here we are. Iti pisso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampano sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manusana buddho bhagavati swakato bhagavata dhammo sanditiko akaliko eipasiko opanaiko pachatang veditabo vinyuiti supatipanno sawaka sangho ujupatipanno bhagavato sawaka sangho Nyaya patipanno bhagavato sawaka sangho Samichi patipanno bhagavato sawaka sangho Yanidam chattari purisa yugani atta purisa pugala Esa bhagavato sawaka sangho ahuneyo pahuneyo dakineyo anjali karaniyo anuttarang punya ketang loka sati, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. So, and there we are.
That was so beautiful, right?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what an experience. So I'd now like to invite Ayya Upekkha for her talk today. And this one is pretty special because today is also Mother's Day. And the theme of looking at it from the lens of what the mothers meant to the Buddha is a unique perspective I haven't heard before. So I'm really looking forward to it, and I hope you join us too.
Thank you, Fatima. First and foremost, to all mothers of the world, blessings of the Holy Triple Gem. It is not easy to be a mother, I can assure you. I have been receiving forwards from family members and devotees and all that, and I thought that there were two that I really would like to share with you. Something was forwarded to me about Mother's Day. Before we came here, assembling here, I was actually wondering, what would the Buddha say if there was a Mother's Day in his time? If I were the Buddha, I would say, let every day be a Mother's Day. Yeah. So I would like to share with you these reflections, I would say. One is from someone reflecting on how, I'm not sure whether it is a he or she, how he or she starts his life journey. And another one that I received today, a reflection of someone who is a mother. I feel that they are so beautiful. I really need to share this with you. Even if the topic is about the Buddha's mother, I'm quite sure they share the same kind of qualities and reflections too. So here we go. The first one, actually I'm quite sure you can find this on YouTube if you go and have a search for it on Google. The first one is from someone who actually did a reflection about how her life journey started. Okay, now I'm just going to read according to what I have received. My life journey starts in the first room. Where? My mom's womb. My first restaurant. My mom's breasts. My first toilet. My mom's lap. My first school. My mom's kitchen. My first teacher. My mom. My first doctor. My mom. My first thermometer. My mom's fingers. My first friend. My mom. My first dresser. My mom. My first vehicle. My mom's bag. Isn't that beautiful? I'm quite sure most of us have gone through all this, right? So there you go. This is from someone from the United States. I really thank him or her for giving this kind of reflection. Someone who really appreciates what mom does for him or her. It's so beautiful. And this morning I received this from a mother. And I'm so happy that at least this mother has such kind words for herself. Okay, this is what the foreword was about. Today, I honor myself as a mother for being strong, resilient, and loving. I am proud of the mother I have become and the life that I have built for my family. That's from a mother. For those of you who are mothers, I'm quite sure you understand exactly what has been said. I'm quite sure you can feel deeply all these words from a child, from a mother. So for mothers of the world, give yourself a pat on the back. Well done, well done, well done. Okay, so we just hope that, as the Buddha has taught, right, filial piety is so, so important and so rare. And the Buddha has mentioned that it is so hard to repay the kindness of our father and mother. Okay? So, why did the Buddha compare metta, loving kindness, to our mother's love for her only child? Why not father? Why mother? Okay? So, from what I can understand, because I am a mother myself, I am not only a biological mother, I'm also a Dhamma mother. I understand it very deeply, what it's like to be a mother. Okay? Now, why did the Buddha compare metta to a mother's love? Okay? Because mothers, generally speaking, they have the 4 Brahma Viharas of compassion, loving kindness, altruistic joy, and equanimity towards their children throughout the children's life, the life journey from childhood to adulthood. Even for us monastics here, I'm quite sure all of us monks and nuns here, we do understand how important it is that our mother has been there for us since we decided to come back to samsara again. Yeah? So the mother's love is something that is so remarkable, it can hardly be repaid, as the Buddha has mentioned. Yeah? So there was another video that was forwarded to me. It is actually a false kind of interview set up by someone. And the interviewees, real interviewees, they actually applied for a job. Okay? The job posting is called Director of Operations. So there were a lot of applications for that job. Okay, if you can find that one, it's a fake interview. It's either on Facebook or YouTube. I have actually shown it to the teens group. If some of the teens are here, they may remember teens group. And after watching that interview, okay, at first a lot of people thinking, you are giving us ridiculous conditions for this job application. How can anyone work so many hours and not get enough rest and don't have all this leave and all those things? It's impossible to have something like that as a job. But when the interviewer revealed that it is a job called mom, it moved so many of them to tears. A lot of us don't realize how our moms have sacrificed for us. Right? We take our moms for granted, especially for those of us who have children, right? It is so important for us to really love our moms the way we love our children. You know, from experience, I can see that when we have a young child who's just growing up, little toddler or even just a little baby, and an elderly who is like maybe bedridden or wheelchair bound, sometimes you can see the father or mother feeding the little kid. And then on the other end, you can find the children feeding their elderly mother or father. This is just a life cycle of love and care. But do we really do it with the love and care? The love and care that we give to our children or other people, right? So-called Buddhist practitioners. We love others, right? Do we really care for our parents, our mother, the way we care for our children? The way we care for others? This is the question that I always ask myself. Yeah. So it's so important for us to remember, I mean, this is just one day of the year for mothers, but it is so important that we have to treat our mother with that love. Okay, now some of you may argue that our mother has never done so much for me. That is exceptional cases, but most mothers, right, they love their children. They really love their children, and they care for the children as best as they are able to. They give, as Ajahn Brahma would like to say, 100% or even more. Okay? So you see, motherhood, it is a lifetime job. Okay? It's a tough job. It's a 24/7 job. Okay? No pay, no day off unless you're sick, right? And no resignation is possible. You can't resign from motherhood unless it's due to some circumstances beyond our control. Okay, so this is really something that we should reflect on. Mother's Day, how are we going to repay our love for our mother? Okay, so this is what I would like to share with you before we touch on the Buddha's mothers. And also not only the Buddha's mothers, the Bhikkhuni mother, the first mother of the Bhikkhuni lineage. Okay, without her, we wouldn't be here. All of us Bhikkhunis, we wouldn't be here. Yeah. So that is the reflection for all mothers of the world. You are being appreciated, even if you don't feel it. You are being appreciated. You will be rewarded with the giving, with the service, with the care that you have spooned out for all your children. Yeah, it will be rewarded with good karma. Yeah, so don't worry if sometimes you feel disappointment or anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you have done your job well. Okay, so now we talk about the Buddha's mothers. How many mothers does the Buddha have? 2. Yeah, everybody knows that. The first mother was only with him for how many days? 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. Yeah. So for one to be able to give birth to a person who will become a Buddha, I just can't imagine how pure that mother has to be. That purity of body, speech, and mind. Everything that we do is mind-made. The purity of the mind, which none of us can see, has to be so profound, so deep, in order for her to be chosen to be the mother of the Buddha. So of course there are certain kind of speculation about why the mother died 7 days after. I really can't tell really, because nowadays there are many mothers who die on the day they deliver their babies. That's why for me, anyone who comes here to celebrate birthdays, I always ask them, what have you done for your mom today? If your moms are with you, or whether they are in another country, what have you done for your mom today on your birthday? Right? Many mothers, they lose their life delivering us into this world to give us a human life. So for the very fact that they are our first room, their womb, we have to always remember to be grateful to them. Yeah. And of course, as all teachers say, what is the best way to be grateful to them? That is to practice according to what the Buddha wants us to do. Whether we are Buddhists or not, there's always all these values and practices that all cultures will teach us, regardless of what religion we come from. Okay? Parental love for the children's love for the parents, it has to be reciprocated. All right? So the first mother of Lord Buddha, Maya, okay, she may be called Mahamaya, she may be referred to as Maya Devi, right? She was the queen of the Sakya clan and the wife of King Suddhodana. But she died 7 days after giving birth to Siddhartha, who later became the Buddha. Okay, so who was the second mother? I'm quite sure all of you know that, right? So it's Mahapajapati Gotami, the sister of Maya. Wow. How many of us allow our sister to marry our husband? That's a wonderful quality that first mother of Buddha has, allowing the sister to marry the same husband. What kind of quality? No jealousy. No jealousy. Yeah. And Gotami, the sister who also was married to King Suddhodana, she was so willing, so happy to come forward to take care of Siddhartha, even though she had 2 children of her own. She had a son and a daughter when the sister died, and Siddhartha, the prince, had no one to take care of him. Mahapajapati came forward and took care of him like her own son. Right? How many of us can do that? We hear a lot about stepmothers and all that, but I know of some stepmothers who are really, really, really kind to their stepchildren. They are. I've heard of them. I've seen them too. So it doesn't matter whether we're a stepmother or biological mother or Dhamma mother. The qualities of the heart has to be there, right? So these are the two mothers of Lord Buddha. Now, being a biological mother or a mother who brings you up is so important, right? But what is the most important mother for me, right? Not only my biological mother for giving me a chance to become a human being and nurture me to become what I am, to educate me, to love me, teach me how to be a real human being, how to love one another, how to care for one another, how to share. All these qualities come from the heart of a mom. Of course, we can't deny that dad plays a very important role too. Okay, without the support of dad, probably things won't work out so easily for a lone mother, right? So, in our Chinese saying, in the past, when we have these, old wooden tubs where you have all those wooden strips held together by a metal strip around the tub, fathers are referred to as the wooden planks. Mothers are referred to as the metal strip. You can cut the metal strip, the wooden strips will fall apart. That's how important the mother's love is. And I can understand why Lord Buddha refers metta to mother's love. It makes so much sense. Okay? So, fathers, please don't be jealous, okay? You have your good qualities too. Without you, we cannot be born. All right, so you have also played a very important role. But because the father's duty was to go out to bring bread and bacon back into the house, not that really it is bread and bacon, but you have to go out to work and bring in the finance to support wife and children. But now mother's job is even harder. The mother nowadays have to go out to earn and come back to do housework and take care of children. But fortunately, what we are seeing so far, fathers are chipping in to take care of housework and children too. Yeah, shared responsibility. So, okay, now for the mothers of Lord Buddha, this are the two mothers the Lord Buddha has, and I just can't use words to describe that deep qualities of the heart of these two women who became Lord Buddha's mother. Words just can't express that the admiration for them. Okay, so that is Lord Buddha's mother. But what about the Dhamma mother for the bhikkhunis? This is what I'm more focused on today. Okay, Mahapajapati, right? Gave her life to her 3 children. One is, of course, the future Lord Buddha, and to her own 2 children, and also serving the king. Okay, and she's got court ladies and all that. But after the king passed away, as you all know, the king actually, as a lay person, right? He was actually an anagami. He was able to train himself, purify himself till he became an anagami. Ajahn, if I'm wrong, please correct me, okay, Ajahn? Yeah, please just cut in and correct me if I'm wrong. Some parts of the commentaries say that King Suddhodana actually died as an arahant. He became an arahant on the day he died. That was part of the commentaries that I read. But how true it is, I don't know. But most of the records show that the king was an anagami, non-returner. Okay. Now, for those of us here, the women folk here, who want to become a nun, but because of conditions, you cannot wear the robe. Does it mean that you cannot practice to become awakened? You can. Even the king can become a holy person. What is stopping us from becoming one? So don't worry. Having bhikkhuni lineage is important. Okay, we need to have the triple gem going on, but it doesn't mean that as a lay person you cannot be awakened. We can be awakened. Okay, as long as someone is practicing the Noble Eightfold Path correctly with right view. The most important thing is really right view, transcendental right view, not just mundane right view. I cannot see any reason why we are still stuck in samsara for so many lifetimes. Something is not right somewhere. We are not following the Buddha's teaching correctly. Okay? So for those who who have become mothers, you have to fulfill your motherhood duties and responsibilities. By the time you finish your duty, you are about 50, 60 years old, and the monasteries will say, sorry, you're too old, we can't accept you. Doesn't matter. Practice on your own. In fact, nowadays, institutionalized Buddhism is really not that easy to practice. Okay? If you can go become a hermit, I think that's even much better. All right? So this is just a consolation for those who cannot become a nun like Mahapajapati. Now, what happened was that, as most of you would know, Mahapajapati wanted to become a nun after King Suddhodana passed away. So he approached his son, the Buddha, right? I want to renounce, okay? I want to live the holy life just like everybody else. But the Buddha said no. For the second time, for the third time, the Buddha said no. So I think at that time he was in Kapilavastu, because I think that was after the father passed away. So after saying no 3 times to the stepmother, no, you cannot become a nun, no reason given at that time, from what I can understand, no reason given at that time, just said no. Okay, and he would move on to Vasali with his monks. Right. So Mahapajapati was just so determined that she wants to renounce and live the holy life. Right? So what did she do? She arranged for her hair to be shaven. She wore what they call the ochre robes, and she walked all the way from Kapilavastu to Vasali. I'm not sure how many kilometers. Maybe Pooja can fill me in on that. It's a very long distance. So by the time she and her court ladies, I think according to record, it was about 500 court ladies who went with her. By the time she reached Vasali, her feet were swollen. I'm quite sure we'll be bleeding because I'm walking here in Newberry and I'm having problem with my soles. So I'm quite sure that when you are walking barefooted for that distance on rough roads at that time, no tar roads and all that, and in the rain and sun and all that. By the time she reached Vasali to look for the Buddha, to really plead with him to please let us become nuns, you know, they were such a pitiful sight. And of course, dear Ananda, the bhikkhuni's best friend, yeah, dear Ananda, saw the plight of Mahapajapati. So when Mahapajapati told him what happened, right, Ananda decided that he should actually try to intervene. So he asked the Buddha, can women become awakened? The Buddha said, yes. Then why don't you allow your stepmother who brought you up to become a nun, to live the holy life and to be awakened? So sometimes you may be wondering, why is it that the Buddha needs someone else so junior to remind him to allow something to happen, right? Now the Buddha wasn't being unkind or mean or anything like that. No, it's because at that time, during the Buddha's time, 2,500, I think it's 2,600 years ago now. You can imagine that kind of patriotic kind of society. Even nowadays, it's still very patriotic kind of society. We nuns feel it very, very much, okay? Yeah, but at least nowadays, there's a lot of freedom of speech and a freedom of equal opportunities and all that. But during the Lord Buddha's time, right, the Buddha has to be very concerned about how women can survive if you live the holy life. You are not like monks, right? Monks can survive alone under a tree. You see, for us bhikkhunis, one of the venerable rules is that even when we become a bhikkhuni, we are not allowed to sit under a bodhi tree, under a tree, not to say just bodhi tree. We can't go out alone. We cannot leave the monastery alone. We must always go out in pairs, at least in pairs. And it is because of his love and kindness to protect the woman that he says, no, 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 right? And of course, at that time, women, as usual in other religion, except the Jains, did I pronounce it correct? Jain, the Jains religion, only that religion could allow some women to renounce. no other religion allow women to renounce. So Buddha actually had to follow the times of the what is the word to use? The cultural and the societal kind of conditions then, to be very careful not to allow women just to go forth like that, right? So when Ananda actually asked whether it was possible for women to be ordained and to be awakened, then of course the Buddha said yes, and Ananda said, well, this is the reason she brought you up. Why can't you give her the gift? And so Lord Buddha says, okay, if Mahapajapati is happy to accept 8 conditions, okay, she can become a bhikkhuni. So this is what we refer to as the 8 Garudhammas, the higher dhammas. Now, of course, there's a lot of controversy about these 8 Garudhammas, right? So when I first went to Santi, Ajahn Sujato actually asked me, Ayya Upekkha, what do you think about the 8 Garudhammas? I said, Bhante, you're talking to an elderly nun who is brought up in the Chinese culture where women can be seen and not heard. Of course I accept them. I don't fight them. It's also to my convenience and to my protection that, you know, I have the monks trying to protect me. Why not? I don't mind bowing to the monks and all that. They can be very junior monks, but if I bow to you, you must be someone worthy for us to be bowing to, right? The Buddha is so fair. The Buddha didn't say that nuns, you must bow to every bhikkhu. No. Any bhikkhus that is not practicing, any bhikkhu that you find not respectful and misbehaving, bhikkhunis don't have to bow to them. The Buddha is so fair, right? So when we become bhikkhunis, I always remind myself, not only the first bhikkhuni, Mahapajapati, who had such a strong determination and going through such hardship to really take on the ropes to become the first bhikkhuni, accepting those 8 Garudhammas. Do you know what is the first one of the 8 Garudhammas? Something that a lot of females don't accept nowadays. Even monks also say that those are not fair. A bhikkhuni who has been ordained for 100 years has to stand up and venerate a bhikkhu who has been ordained on that very day. That is the first one that a lot of females feel is not fair. And they felt that these are not what the Buddha probably would have established as a rule. So there's a lot of controversy here. Look, for me, most important thing, as I was always sharing with our nuns here, we become a monastic, whether monk or nun, not to fight for equality, but to fight to abandon our defilements. The respect and support will come naturally if we are pure, if we are practicing and serving, right? So Mahapajapati, despite her status, her background, she wanted so much to become a bhikkhuni, so she accepted the 8 Garudhammas. Okay, so of course 6 of those 8 Garudhammas are actually found in our Bhikkhuni Vinaya. I think it's in the Pachitya, I think so, yeah. And this one here, which a lot of females would not accept, is about a very senior nun having to bow to a monk who is ordained that day. Today, this is something that's going to happen. We are all senior nuns to our dear friend Conrado, who will soon become a Samanera. Samanera, yeah, not today, yeah, Samanera. But 1 year later, I hope he will make it, okay? When he becomes a bhikkhu, if I'm here, I will encourage our nuns to bow to the bhikkhu. I'm not bowing to Conrado or whatever his name will be. I'm bowing to the Buddha's first establishment of the bhikkhu order, bhikkhu. The Buddha established the bhikkhu first. So this is the reason why, out of humbleness, out of respect, and so out of the gratitude to Lord Buddha for allowing females to become nuns, okay, I, for one, am happy to accept the Garudhammas. I'm not sure how they feel, but so far they have been following my practice to respect the Bhikkhu Sangha, right? There are other nuns already asking that they want to stand in front of bhikkhus who are younger than them when collecting food and all that. I have been given the permission to do that too. But I was thinking that even in the mundane world, you cannot have really 100% fairness and equality. Equal opportunities for self-improvements and service and all that, yes, it's always there. To have equal status with someone else is not possible, even within your own family. All of it has to do with our own karma, right? You can never be equal with another person, even amongst the bhikkhus themselves. There is no equality. You cannot say that I'm equal or I'm better and all that. This is what Lord Buddha says is conceit. And this is something that we shouldn't be practicing. Okay? So for Mother's Day, of course, talking about mothers is something that is close to my heart, right? But talking about the Dhamma mother, Mahachulalongkorn Gotami, for her, she's the first Dhamma mother that we had. And because of her, the females are given this opportunity after all these years. I mean, the Bhikkhuni lineage died off in Sri Lanka and all that, but it survived in China. The Chinese nuns had the first ordination from the Sri Lankan nuns to sail to China, Nanling, to give the first ordination to the nuns there. From there onwards, all the Chinese nuns flourished, right? So they flourished to China, to Taiwan, and of course Vietnam, Singapore, and all that, or the northern countries there. That's why it's called the Northern School of Buddhism. The nuns just flourished. They practiced Vinaya rules and all those things. But unfortunately, due to the time and cultural differences, and also due to modernization and other kinds of influences, right? The Dhamma and Vinaya, likewise in the Bhikkhu Sangha too, they decline. If you read the Nikayas, the Buddha already foresee the decline of the Dhamma, the decline of the Sangha, and it's already happening. But does that mean that there's no Arahant in the world? No, the Buddha did mention that as long as you are practicing, there will be Arahants in the world. You're practicing the Eight Noble Eightfold Path correctly. There will be Arahants in the world. And we have experienced very good bhikkhus and bhikkhunis around us, right? Not that we go around looking for them, but working with them, hearing what they are doing for others. Some of them that we hear, they are not from this monastery, but we have seen and heard how people talk about what they do and all that, the humbleness, the respect and the gratitude they have for people who are not their equal, right? So these are people that we really want to learn from, to consider as our teachers. So for today, as a Mother's Day, I am running off. I'm overtaking the time. For Mother's Day, I really want to pay special tributes not only to all mothers of the world for today. Every day, I hope we as children, every day should be a Mother's Day, right? And for mothers, please remember that whether the children repay their kindness or not, we have all done our great job to bring them out into this world and given them the care and love and all the education that they need from the day they were born, right? So of course, not forgetting that the fathers were also by the side and other supporting factors there. So for today, the most important mother that I refer to is not just Maya Devi, who brought Lord Buddha out into this world, but also to the stepmother, Mahachulalongkorn Gotami. Yeah. So with that, I'd like to conclude. Thank you so much for giving me this chance to share. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ayya Upekkha. I knew it was going to be a great one. I'm glad I got front row seat. So for the next stage, we'll be doing the offering of gifts to the Sangha, I believe.
Yes, that's good. So if one member of the Sangha could go over and receive the gifts. What about the nuns? Would the nuns like to receive the gifts? The gifts are over here. If you haven't seen that sign, the idea is all the non-food offerings are over here, and to save people having to come forward. That was the idea. If you have gifts, say for Conrado, after his ordination, he won't be Conrado then, that's for later. Hold on to those. But if there's these gifts here I can see, maybe one of the... all right, Ajahn Sadhara, thank you very much, Ajahn, can go over there. And if somebody would like to come and offer, that's It's good. And all you need do is to touch, and then Ajahn Sadharo can touch. And also Ayya Sunyata, that's good. Good to see the monks and nuns.
Ajahn, maybe we can give people outside who have brought something for offering to the Sangha to bring them in.
Yes, if anybody's got gifts who's outside, please bring them in, and you can put them on the shelf here. But we really need to... There we are. Who would like to offer these? There we are. That's wonderful. There we are. As I said, the gifts for after the ordination, hold on to them. There we are. So 1, 2, 3. That's good. They're received. And now the next part of the ceremony, we'll have to make this pretty quick smart, as they say, is the dedication of merit to those who've passed away, and also a blessing chant, including a water blessing, sprinkling with water. We have to do that fairly fast. So this is where we will start now. We can do that. There we are. All right? Yes, there we are. And the first part is, of course, to dedicate it to those who passed away. So please bring them to mind. We can't write their names down today, too many. Too many to write down. So just bring them to mind. And this is a gift we give to them, that they may rejoice in it and make good karma that way. Idang vonyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang vonyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idang vonyati nang hotu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Yata varivaha pura paripurenti sagarang evam evarito dinang petanang upekkha ichitang patitang tumhang kipameva samijatu sambe purentu sankapa chando panarazo yatamani jyoti rezo yata samaroga vinimuto sambasanda pavajito Samba Veramati Kanto Nibuto Chaturang Bhava Sambitio Vivajantu Samba Rogo Vinasatu Mate Bhavatwantarayo Sukhi Digayuko Bhava Abhivadana Silissa Nicham Buddha Pacharino Chattaro Dhamma Vadanti Ayuvano Sukham Balam Bhavatu Samamangalam Rakhantu Samadevata Samabuddhanupavena Sadasoti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Samamangalam Rakhantu Samadevata Samadhammanupavena Sadasoti Bhavantu Te Bhavatu Samamangalam Rakhantu Samadevata Samasanghanupavena Sadasoti Bhavantu Te Mahakaruniko Nato Itaya Sabapanina Urevakarani Sabapato Sambodhi Uttama Etena Sajavajena Sodute Jayamangala Jayantu
palanke sise patavipokare abhiseke sabba buddhanang agappato pamodati sunakatang sumangalang supabhatang suhutitang Sukhano sumuhutto cha suitang brahmacharisu padakinang kaya kamang vacha kamang padakinang mano kamang panidite padakinani katwana Lapannate padakine Jayanto bodhiya mule sakyanang nandivadano evang tuang vijayo hoi jaya sujaya mangale aparajita palanke sise patavipokare abhiseke sabba buddhanang agappato pamodati sunakatang sumangalang supabhatang suhutitang Sukhano sumuhutto cha suitang brahmacharisu padakinang kaya kamang vacha kamang padakinang nano kamang panidine padakinani katwana vantate padakine Jayanto bodhiya mule satyanang nandivadano evang tuang vijayo hi jaya sujaya mangale aparajita palanke sise patavipokare abhiseke sabba buddhanang agappato pamodati sunakatang sumangalang supabhatang suhutitang sukhano sumuhutto cha suitang brahmacharisu padakinang kaya kamang vacha kamang padakinang mano kamang panidite padakinani katwana labantate padakine.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And the meaning of that chant too, particularly the end bit, is that we honour, we respect the Buddha by our actions of body, speech and mind. This is how we really pay our respects, how we venerate the Buddha, by our practice. And so this is quite a nice meaning to this chant, actually. It's really good. And hopefully you didn't mind getting a little damp. It's not quite the Ajahn Brahm drench. I saw one person covering their head with their parka. So anyway, that's it, to avoid the blessing. So now is the time to hand over to Fatima.
Thanks so much for that, Ajahn Nisarano. So following this will be the rice offering, or the better known Pindapata. The way that'll work is that the last row in the hall will exit first through the main hall doors at the back over there, and please just exclusively use those doors. It just helps the flow of the event. And we'll be lining up from the monastic door. Volunteers will be guiding you there. Each of you will be provided with a box of rice today, which will be the rice offering itself as well as your dinner plate, so hold on to it. And then we'll guide you later to where the actual lunch or dana is happening. All of this will be through our volunteers, so if you don't know where you're going, just follow the last person you can see right in front of you, or grab somebody in a green vest. And yes, I suppose we can start now.
Yes, the Pindapata goes through the courtyard, around the courtyard. That's where we're heading. If you've got, so if you'd like to exit through the front door from the back rows.